Well, here we are. We are live. I made a big boo boo. I thought I pushed the live on here and had the little countdown and everything else. And guess what?
I was wondering why it didn't
Whoopsie.
show live in the corner of the thing
Yeah.
and it didn't show the people
So
watching.
I'm sorry, guys. And you probably heard or seen us, saw me talking and like, what's going on? That's crazy Diane here tonight. As I was saying before we realized we weren't even live.
It's already going to be a great
yeah,
night.
yeah, we're off to a good start for sure. I apologize for us not being on last night as we were scheduled, but we were having some leaking issues in the apartment. Had to get them checked out. Plus, I really didn't get any sleep the prior night. Bad enough I got this coughing thing going on, and it's so frigid cold outside that not last night, but the night before, I got and I was wheezing again pretty loud, and I didn't dust. And the wheezing's bad enough, but the whistling in my nose. What's that say? Chat with Gemini? Nah,
Doing more
that
guys.
that's
AI
and
trying to take over.
so I'm sorry that we weren't on last night. But as we told you, we're not going to miss shows during the week. If we do have to delay for some unexpected circumstance like that last night, we will do a follow up the next day. Like we are here and we're not going anywhere. Tonight, Gabriella will be doing the topic, and if you noticed, I put surprise as the title. I'm quite not sure how to explain her topic because it is her topic. And so when I do the weather and the normal thing, she's going to take over. So um, we're like in the ice box right now. We did get up to, they said 28 today, but then it steadily dropped. Right now they said it's 6 degrees and clear, but with the wind, we are having temperatures of 10 below zero, and it's supposed to hit maybe up to 20 below tonight. So we're going to have our faucets at like a steady stream or a real fast drip because it's bad. Now, in the next couple days, tomorrow we're actually under a winter storm warning, and that starts at 7 p.m. tomorrow, and it's supposed to go through 12 p.m. on Monday. And we are expecting to get from 9 to 16 inches of snow and sleet accumulations. So the snow is one thing, but that sleet, that, and with those temperatures, I'm swaying more that it's going to be more of the icy, really slippery stuff.
I mean, it was raining the other day. It was snowing and then raining. So
see, they keep on saying heavy, heavy snow, and I don't know if they mean that by just a lot or if they mean heavy. We don't get the heavy, really dangerous snow unless the temperatures are right around the freezing. With the temperatures as low as what we're having now, we could get a lot of snow, but it's going to be that real light, fluffy snow. But if there is ice and sleet somehow mixed up in with it, that's where the problems are because it's a lot easier to deal with snow than it is with that ice and the real nasty and the bitter cold. I'll tell you what, I'll take a ton of snow and a little bit warmer temperatures any day over this. We're like literally in the freezer. It's that cold.
yeah.
I know Linda was picking on me earlier. She said, well, time to pick out the long underwear. And I'm there, yeah, like layers of them because it is that cold out.
I know over at the apartment, I had to turn the heat up because it's.
And my coughing picked up. Gabriella wasn't feeling good earlier today. She asked me.
My throat is still kind of.
Hi, Cactus.
Cactus!
Yeah, she had some cough drops and stuff. Eric, I'm pretty concerned about him because he's coughing and coughing and coughing and just hacking up a ton of phlegm. So it's just now. Before Gabriella starts, she has her research. We can do questions. I did start writing that story I'm not finished. So we have a couple options. If you want me to read what I've already written and put to be continued and finish this up this weekend and finish it on Tuesday, or I can just reread the one that AI had and then add the other three parts and just do that whole story when it's completed on another day. So you guys can decide after the topic. So with that being said, I'm putting it on my lips, and it's Gabriella.
So you can thank Cactus for this because she was the inspiration.
The inspiration.
Sure. Cactus sent me a video on Instagram from TikTok, I think, that is about this girl.
They can't see that girl.
So I'm going to be talking about this girl. Her name is Stacy Habecker. Habecker? Habecker.
It's her name. So.
Habecker. I don't know. Anyways, she's also known as the Clean Girl. So, let's begin. Stacy gained viral attention in late 2024 for her controversial graveyard cleaning videos. Her content, which she describes as an obsession with making sure everyone deserves a beautiful grave, became a subject of intense public debate. Viral content style. Typically, she wears a signature pink and black outfit with pigtails, and in her most famous video, which garnered nearly 140 million views, she used a hot pink ball to select a grave at random to clean. The cleaning process. Her videos show her using a leaf blower, vacuum, and her own brand of hot pink cleaning solution to scrub gravestones and surrounding areas. This is her stated motivation. She has expressed a deep fascination with cemeteries, stating in her posts that she finds the process satisfying and wishes she could live in a graveyard, which is kind of she's on the way to it. And she keeps
Some people are fascinated with graveyards. I know another content creator that is fascinated with graveyards who worked at a graveyard. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't want to mention a name because I just don't want anybody to think like I'm starting shit with them, or because you know how we feel about that. So I didn't say it as a bad thing, but sometimes when you say something innocent, people misconstrue it and take it as the total opposite how you meant it. But plus I don't have permission to say anything about this person, so I'm just not going to go that route and get into any ugliness.
Anyways,
hi. Thanks for coming back. You've been coming back every time. Love it. Okay.
Continuing, the public controversy. The obsession has polarized viewers and experts for several reasons. Preservation concerns. Preservationists and monument experts have warned that using vacuums and unapproved chemical cleaners can corrode historical stones and accelerate their decay. Ethical and legal issues. Critics argue that cleaning a grave without family consent is disrespectful and potentially illegal. Specifically, backlash occurred when she removed flowers left by loved ones to replace them with her own decor.
Oh. Oh, that's where there's a problem.
Commercialization. Some viewers accuse her of capitalizing on grave sites for TikTok views and to promote her commercial cleaning products. Yeah, cemeteries are very peaceful and kept so beautiful. The lawns and trees. I can see why people can be drawn to them in general sense. I mean, yeah, but
some cemeteries are
not want to
very
live
beautiful
in one. That's kind of pushing it over the edge.
Oakwood Cemetery down in Spartanburg was a very pretty cemetery.
And it was very peaceful
it was.
Until those people came and ruined it.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Paranormal claims, the haunted teddy, and vibe shift. Many viewers commented that cleaning such a personal item felt eerie and disrespectful to the spirit of the child, which I agree. I don't know why you would. This is the actual
to go on that. Remember when we went to that little cemetery down, not Spartanburg, but the little one, and we did get communication with them, and they more or less told us they didn't want us there, but in a nice way, because they said they were all family oriented and they were at peace and they just wanted to be left alone. So we said we respect your wishes and thank you for allowing us to be here, and we will leave you alone. And we left.
Yep, and we left.
So yes,
we were gone.
Yep, we were gone.
The haunting narrative. Social media users frequently warned Habecker that she would be haunted for disturbing the child's belongings. This led to a sub-trend of paranormal reaction videos where creators claimed the teddy bear or the cleaning process itself had triggered supernatural activity in her house or at the site. The energy shift. Many comments claim her videos now feel heavy or dark, with some suggesting she brought something back from the cemetery after disturbing the child's mementos, shadow figures. Following the teddy bear video, a subgenre of reaction videos emerged where users claimed to see unexplained shadows or movements in the background of her home cleaning videos. Despite these criticisms, Habecker has not officially addressed the haunting claims or the ethical concerns, continuing her high-energy content, which many viewers now find increasingly surreal and uncanny. And I guess that's all. I thought that was... So basically, I thought I wrote it down, but I guess I didn't. She is known for her cleaning videos in graveyards, and she took it too far, the one video, because she not only took flowers and replaced them with her own, but she took a child's teddy bear and was like, ew, this is dirty and gross. And so she took it to her house, cleaned it, and then brought it back. And people are saying ever since that video, her videos feel heavy and weird and eerie, and claim to see shadowy figures in the back of her videos, and that her energy is just not like as bubbly as it was, and it's almost, she said it was an obsession, and people are starting to believe that not only is it an obsession, but it is like a lore. It keeps on bringing her back to that same cemetery, and she's trying to figure out more information on these spirits.
I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I can find. Looks like pretty much everything you said. Yeah, she rips out moss and weeds. It likes pretty much everything you said.
Yeah, and people, they get on her a lot because they're pretty sure that she's only doing these cleaning videos to promote her cleaning
Her cleaning channel itself. That's
Well,
kind of what it said on
not
here.
cleaning channel, but her actual things.
Yeah, they call her the clean girl because it says that she also cleans public restrooms, objects, and old graves. So, and I guess she videotapes all of that when she's doing it.
But everybody everywhere that I saw said that everybody that comments on her videos now, because she does still make them, although I did see one video where they said, oh, she just disappeared after the teddy bear video, and that wasn't true, so I did my research. And she still does her videos, and she still tries to act bubbly and everything, but because of that incident, it's just eerie and creepy, and it feels like something is almost like forcing her to be there while also like lurking over her in the shadows. So
that's what a lot of people think, that when she started doing it just out of the goodness and she happened to put an episode or two in her show, that she kind of, something might have drawn her to keep on coming back, and she kind of got almost obsessed by it.
She said it's an obsession. She said that herself.
Wow.
Like, it's quote unquote, she is obsessed with going to graveyards, and she says it's an obsession. But people only thought that that was just like a tee, I'm obsessed type of thing. And then when she kept on going back and then took personal belongings from graves, washed them or replaced them with her own.
Well, see, that's where I have the problem. But some graveyards you have to have permission to do anything, even to replace flowers or anything. I was
talking about like legal reasons. A lot of people said that it could be illegal what she's doing, and she's not caught apparently.
But I mean, that part of it, cleaning it and stuff, and that I think that's a good thing. But where I think the line is crossed, and I agree with a lot of the public, is the taking of property and that, and putting, like when we was at Oakwood, we saw there was a lot of toys around little Jimmy's grave, and people were just adding more and more stuff. Some of it was old, but we just went and we added a couple of toys and a balloon too. Like, we added stuff.
Yeah, it's something is left there.
Leave it there.
That person, leave it there.
Yeah.
Don't touch it. That's just, why would you do that? That would be like, what she's not taking in consideration is that would be like her going to a cemetery that maybe one of her family members passed away at, and she put freshly new flowers down like a week before. Somebody took and put their promo thing on a card and left flowers there at that person's grave. She wouldn't be very happy about it. I know I wouldn't.
Mm-mm. And a lot of these graves, even if you don't have permission to, help or anything, a lot of these graves have regular groundskeepers. And I'm sure even the groundskeepers, if the family's put something at a grave, like a memento of some sort, I'm sure either the family of the grave or somebody would have informed the groundskeeper, hey, or the groundskeeper would have enough common sense to know, hey, this looks like it's special for this. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to leave it there.
Especially if it's a kid's grave.
Yeah.
I understand, like Mom said, if you want to like add to it, if you got like a teddy bear that you thought resembled the one that was already there, and you just wanted to add to it as for respect, go ahead and do it. And make sure you let the spirit know that you're doing that, because I know a lot of children's spirits would be kind of like iffy to even let anybody by their grave. At least little Jimmy was. But taking it home, washing it, which is getting rid of all the memories. Well, at least this is how I think of it. All that dirt and all that, like, all the stuff on that teddy bear was memories of that child when he had the teddy bear, or it had the teddy bear, and you just washed it all away and replaced it with a brand new one.
Well, there's two good valid points, or well, a point and a question. Linda, I can understand old deserted cemeteries. I think, there's a lot of these old cemeteries that you can't even hardly even see what's on the tombstone because they're so overgrown, and that I think that is very respectful if you go and help them along. Even like up at, I have to say Oakwood again, up at Potter's Field where the unmarked graves was, they were just thrown in there like they meant nothing to anybody anyhow. So like people like us that went in and we gave them recognition saying, hey, you're not forgotten. We may not know your names and that, but we are letting people know that you are here, and you deserve respect. You shouldn't have just been thrown in there without any recognition. Doing something, around the graves, that's understandable. But then Cactus had this question here, and she goes, the staff of the cemetery never approached her. They didn't notice. And that was my question too. What was there staff that worked at the cemetery? And why didn't somebody say something there?
I mean, it seems to me like most people who work at a cemetery just don't care
anymore, a lot of cemeteries
unless you're like physically digging in the grave.
Well, it's not even at cemeteries anymore. We live in a society right now that nobody wants to help anybody anymore. Yeah. Everybody's out for their own. They see something going on, nobody wants to do anything about it.
Thank you, Linda. Yeah, it seems like anybody can go into a cemetery and do whatever the fuck they want, and nobody does anything about it, so.
And the sad thing is, there's a lot, like right where we live, there's a couple of cemeteries. They're real small. You can tell like they're family cemeteries. So it'd be curious to see what the history is around them. But there is a couple that's like back, and it looks like they haven't been taken care of. Those are the kind that pique my interest. And if are there no more family there to take care of them, or did everybody just give up? Like, why are they abandoned like that? Why doesn't anybody care? Because even though you're dead, you should be respected just as much as people that are alive. Some of them, you know what I mean. I don't think they should be respected. They're dead. Just give them the respect like you would give the living person, is how I mean, even though they're in the resting place. Respect their resting place, and that's what I mean. But yeah, it's crazy that,
Yeah, this whole thing blew me away because I knew about it, and I knew that she was a cleaning lady that just goes to graveyards and cleans things, but I did not know that she would take flowers and replace them with her own that has her promo code, I guess you would call it, on there, and she would use her own cleaning supplies and everything to commercialize.
Yeah, so it seems like it started off as a good thing, and it turned into a promo op.
Yeah.
And that's where it went wrong. That's not good. That's like that Oakwood Cemetery again down in South Carolina. If you remember, when we first decided we wanted to go up, prior to us being there, I don't know how many years it was, but somebody actually dug up a grave and they just removed the head from it, and then they didn't fill it completely in, but they just took the head, and they said they thought it was for ritualistic reasons or something. And I think since then, if I'm not mistaken, it was either right before the year we moved back here or the first year we moved back. I think that they found out who did it and what the reason was or something like that, or somebody returned it. There was something involving that missing head from that grave. But we know there's rituals going on down there, because the night we were there, everything was calm and peaceful. We were kind of a little disappointed. We had little Jimmy talking to us, and I had that thing, whatever it was, tug the bottom of my pant leg, but beyond that, we weren't like. Well, Abby did get bit, but beyond that, nothing really happened until after that.
Abby got bit after all that weird shit happened.
No, it was before we went to the bathroom. Because it was down in the other part. It wasn't even up at Potter's. I remember it was down on the bottom where we kept on, where we got that real eerie feeling where the priest and his family was all buried.
Oh,
Remember? Because
yeah.
we just got in car because we were just having real weird stuff down there, and we got in the car and well, Abby said her leg was burning or something, and where they're like, "What's going on?" And she went in the car and she pulled down her pants and checked her leg, and there was a bite mark on her leg. Where they're like, "Holy shit!" And she did take a picture of it. And then where they're, well, we're getting out of here because we don't know why that happened. And it was through her pants. There was no mark on her pants, but somehow she had a bite mark on her leg.
Yeah, and it was definitely human.
Yeah. So it was crazy.
Seriously, people actually do that nowadays? How did they...
Are you talking about, digging up? I don't know how they got away with it now. I don't know how many years prior to us knowing about Oakwood and wanting to go there, but they had big news articles and everything about it. And I think that's why you were supposed to ask permission to be able to go into the cemetery after a certain hour, but we asked permission to go, but when we went there that night, everybody that we ran into, we said, "Oh, so you got permission to be here too?" And they said, "Oh, no, we didn't ask permission. We just come here all the time." Well, then why the heck did we ask permission? It was a bite mark. It wasn't a real big mark, but it did look like a human bite. So we can't explain it. And there was no mark or anything on her pants. She said she had a stinging in her leg. And like she says, "Mom, it's starting like the burn really, really, really bad." And I said, "Well, go in the car and check." And she went in the car and she pulled down her jeans and checked it. And she says, "Mom, I got a bite on my leg." And she took a picture of it. And they're like, "Holy shit." So they're like, "Okay, we're out of here." So
yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but that was with the priest and the family.
Before everything.
Happened. And then we left, and that's when we're there. Like we circled around, and then those people were doing their shit, and that we said, "Well, this is a time for us to." Somebody said they needed to go to the bathroom. We're there. Well, this will be a good time then for us to go to the bathroom and maybe get a drink or something or whatever, and then come back. And around that time, then it was after midnight. So, but yeah, that was insane. And
I can't say that they didn't do anything either. We found like a femur bone or something that was completely cleaned off. It was definitely bleached. They used it.
Mm-hmm. And if you say too, these people said that they weren't doing anything, but you see people beforehand going down the hill. Ironically, they were going down in the direction where Abby got bit, with a Ouija board in their hand. But then you see another group that's walking around looking suspicious and carrying a ball bat. And they're like, "What are you doing with that ball bat?" And they didn't really, say what. And then when we circled around, there's about 6 of them sitting on the ground in a circle, and it's almost like they were doing some kind of a chant or something. So like something was amok somewhere, something had to have gone on. So,
and if what we did encounter was a skinwalker, which I
swear it was.
It was.
Yep.
They might have summoned it there by whatever ritual they did.
And I don't get razzled easy. I got to pat myself on the back. I'm pretty brave when we investigate and go in a lot of places. And when Gabriella seen the eyes and how it walked, and Chase saw, and then everybody started noticing. At one point, and Abby, after she broke down, and just literally broke down, when all that started happening and we started getting all those warnings on the spirit box and everything saying, you're in danger, get out, and that, at one point I looked at the kids and I said, hey, I don't normally get nervous or afraid, but I think we better get the hell out of here because something's just not right.
And then as soon as we went to turn around, it's like that thing was chasing us,
Yeah.
and we ran the fuck out of there.
Yep.
And it still caught up with us at the very edge, or the very end of the freaking whole other side of the damn cemetery.
Skinwalkers they could be anywhere. I know there's some areas where they're more prevalent, but you got to think skinwalkers a lot of times are tied in with Native Americans, and Pennsylvania has a lot of spots where they were the birthplaces and that of American Indians, Native Americans. So Native American Indians. So you got to figure with that and that factor in place. And we have a lot of wooded areas. We have, the mountains all around us. There's been mentioning of skinwalkers. So, yeah, Pennsylvania would. But like I said, there are places where, like Skinwalker Ranch, I think, what isn't that, in Idaho or Iowa or one of those states. And that's what it's known for. You get mountains, you get wooded areas, you get Native American grounds. You've already got your Skinwalker lore going with it. So, let me see.
Tomorrow instincts kicked in.
Yeah, Gabrielle is usually the one, like, when we go someplace, she's usually the first one that'll have something and some kind of little instinct or anything. But then I kind of stay then by her to see if I can pick up the same vibes. And usually somewhere along the line, I'll say something and she'll say, yeah, that's what I was just going to say, or vice versa. Like, we kind of like are able to pick up each other's vibes and say what we are feeling or how or something about the area that before each other even says it out loud.
Because we all said we felt weird in that area. It just like all the warning signs and all the things, it just didn't feel right. And then when I looked over and saw the freaking eyes in the woods, and then it got larger, and then it started walking like a bear, and the bears weren't even out during that time, I was like, am I the only one seeing this? Or like, is it?
Well, the funny thing is when we first reported this and had it on our video, a lot of people were saying, well, it's probably coyotes, because that area is prevalent for coyotes. But there's so many things after we sat down and we tried to debunk everything right off the bat for logic and, reasonable explanation.
The thing is, for me, if anybody says, oh, the coyote, no.
Mm-mm.
Unless that coyote stood on its back legs and it was like 7 foot tall, I don't think it was a coyote. And its eyes were like more apart on the front of its face, like a bear. And it was like, it was doing that weird, like,
that walk. She
weird...
showed the walk. And then it's funny because we were looking at pictures and she picked a couple out. She said, Mom, that's what it looked like, a skinwalker. But getting back to, like she said, coyotes. Coyotes are prevalent in that area, but you can tell a coyote sound. You know a coyote, and if they make their noise, usually there's a pack of them around there. They usually don't just one of them. There's usually a pack of them there. And if you go with according to the actual skinwalker lore, myths, whatever, usually there's something that kind of starts the whole thing. And what started that whole thing there is we heard what sounded like a person moaning, like a guy moaning, like somebody in distress, like somebody needed help. And Chase went down almost over the embankment saying, hey, are you okay? Do you need help? And we kept on hearing that's like a male type voice calling out like it was in trouble. And so Chase said, I don't see anybody. And they're Chase, that I think that's when Gabriella first got her first instinct, said, yeah, I'm not comfortable with this. Maybe you should get back. And I said, yeah, Chase, if anybody goes anywhere, we need to go as a team. We can't go by ourselves because that's when things happen. So as he was coming back, were you the first one who saw the eyes or was Chase?
He heard the noise in the bushes, and then I looked over
and
I saw the eyes.
And then she initially thought, okay, bear. But it was I think it was in January or early February. Bear are still in hibernation at that time. They were not out at that time. So we knew it couldn't be a bear. But then as it started getting closer and you could see the eyes and the form more, and she said it actually went up on its hind feet. Well, there's just
because the eyes were like down here first, and then I watched it go up like this, and then you could see the eyes up here now, and it was like probably 7 to 8 foot tall. And unless a freaking coyote can not only stand on its 4 back legs and then on its fucking 2 hind legs, and then stare at you from however tall it is there to like way up here, it was not a coyote.
Yeah, it was too slender to be a Bigfoot. It didn't have the appearance of a Bigfoot. The eyes didn't fit in that. Plus, a Bigfoot. Another thing about a skinwalker is some of the stories and lore of the skinwalker is that they can move at lightning speed. And that was the other final factor, because when it started coming towards us and we dashed and hurried up and got in the car, we went from here where Potter's Field was, and it was up on top of the hill, the other part of the cemetery where the Crying Angel statue was, where we figured, well, hey, you know what, we'll just go up there and calm down a little bit and check out the Crying Angel statue to see if we can get her to cry, because it was after midnight. And by the time we was up there, that skinwalker was already up there watching us. It was what we could see. It was there.
Yep.
So
and it had already changed the shape though, because it turned into something else that we heard in the distance. I think we heard like a bat or something, but it was already there and it was moving, and we could hear it in the woods, and we were like, okay, that's it. It's time to get out of here.
Yeah, we was going to try to wait to see if we could see if the Crying Angel statue would cry for us, but after knowing that it had already made it up on the top of the cemetery, we were there, okay, our night is now officially over. So we got in the car and we came home. But at that time, we had gone up. It was still somewhat daylight. And by the time we left there, it was well after midnight. I think it was like 1, maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. So we were there for a long enough time. And we did have experiences, but most of the really, really eerie stuff happened to us after whatever that ritual or whatever those people were doing. That's when the whole aura of the whole cemetery just completely switched. So, does anybody else have any questions about the cemeteries or her story or anything like that?
I thought I had more, but
Well, you said you were able to find pretty much, but still not, you said...
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much the same thing all over everywhere that I searched, so...
Yeah, that was the same as, like, I tried to see if I could find more in sirens and stuff and that, and not very much. I mean, you have that video that you got earlier there. That's like a siren and a mermaid are basically, you might as well say the same thing. It's just the one has a tail, one is supposed to have features of a bird, but they both, their bottom line is luring.
Well, that video that Cactus sent me was definitely a siren, because mermaids would be like, jump in for me.
And plus, like the singing and
it was more like yelling,
like something,
like yelling.
Yeah, but it kind of almost had a tone to it, like if you look, it kind of had a tone to it, because they're like,
Or was probably trying to hypnotize him to jump
that
in.
kind of fits right in with that.
I still want to know why he was the only one on that boat.
But who was he talking to?
The camera. He was talking to the people on the camera.
Oh, I thought he was talking to somebody else too on the boat.
No,
I knew he had the camera, but I thought he was talking to somebody else.
He was like, guys, look. He was talking to, like, us, the viewers.
Yeah. No, Linda, I'm pretty. We're 100. I don't like calling things out. I don't, because I'm very, very, very hesitant of naming anything without any kind of proof or evidence. But I'm telling you, everything that we encountered, the uneasy. I think the biggest thing that got to me, even seeing it, is the uneasiness that you felt. And the feeling like you really wanted to go because you felt like somebody really, really needed help, and there was nobody there. And then this thing appearing, and it was just, there's too many. I'm saying skinwalker. There was just too many things that lead up to. There is no other word to describe this thing that we saw other than it was a skinwalker. And I don't like I said, naming. I don't like naming a spirit like. I don't like using the word demon. I don't know if we've ever encountered demons. Even the one that Gabriella and Eric did, it was dark. I don't know if I would say demon, but it was dark.
I will call that a demon.
See, you can, because you actually experienced it. I can't do that because I didn't. I do know when that was all happening, I was feeling very uneasy too. But Eric and Gabriella got the brink of whatever it was. It affected both of them badly. But I take a lot into consideration before I even will call something a certain way. The ones that I've encountered thus far that were uncomfortable right now, I call them dark, or not demon but evil, as far as you have a mass murderer, serial killer. He was an evil person.
That's how I looked at things too, until that situation happened, and then I was like,
You were scared to death, and Eric was razzled. You were scared to death, and Eric was razzled.
It was absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, so
I thought that I was not going to be me anymore, and I was going to, like, hurt them, or something was going to happen, because I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was having a panic attack. I could feel something like almost stealing the energy from right above my shoulder, and I was like, it was so bad, like, that I was so weak. As soon as they were done and everything, they tried to walk me out. I almost fell to my face because my legs were shaking.
Yeah,
and we had to walk downstairs.
Yeah. But even walking up those stairs, even before we got to that long hallway in those rooms, even that stairway going up, and I think the wife of that place, she even said that there was something dark there, but she didn't want to say too much because we were told we can't say where the place was or anything. But even she mentioned herself the stairway going up. As you got past the halfway point of the stairway towards the top, already there you could almost feel like a whole change of atmosphere when you were walking up there.
Costume, I guess you would call it, costume room.
Yeah.
That was creepy.
Yeah.
That's kind of where it like all started.
Yeah.
In that room, and then continue going up, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And then we started getting like things on the
like spells and hexes, word hex, and just all kinds of almost like witchcraft type, a lot of that type stuff. So I don't know. And it's just ironic because in that hallway, like I said, the way she described what happened to her, Eric said he was having the same feeling happening to him, but not quite as how strongly it affected her, but it probably affected you that strongly because you pick up on that stuff really quickly.
I don't know. It was just really
So,
scary.
but that's the one thing is usually, and for a while nobody wanted to take. I don't know if I can say take her seriously, but like we would go to places and she would say automatically like,
Like, I don't feel comfortable
yeah.
going over there.
And it was
or I don't
always,
like it over there.
like nobody really took into credence anything she said when she started getting those feelings. And then ironically, and we brought it up afterwards, ironically, every time she got those feelings and we went into an area, we got some kind of odd activity. And so then finally everybody's like, well, you know what? If she's getting this feeling, we better start then getting a little serious because something is not right.
Yeah,
So
I would usually be like, "Ooh, I don't like it over there," or I'm getting like weird vibes, or I don't want to go over there, or I wouldn't go over there. Something on the order of that, and they would just look at me like, and of course Chase was like, and I went over.
yeah, but Chase, it's funny because he gets pretty brave, which you have to admire him for that. But then when he went down in the dungeon and he come back that day and he had his watch on and he had a burn mark underneath his watch. Now I'm still trying to figure if there's maybe just the heat of his body or something kind of caused that, but it was like a burn mark.
And it was like I think it was the number. I think it was a 6.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it was weird. So I can't give a logical explanation, but we did try hot to cold, dampness in the dungeon. We did try to do everything, and we tried to replicate it, and we couldn't figure out how something like that happened. So I don't know. And I find it ironic that right before we left, when we told Smitty and some of the other spirits there that, hey, we just have this feeling we're not going to be here very much longer, because we did question, because if you remember how many times I asked them, are you trying to get rid of us? And, oh, no, you're going to be here for a long time. It's ironic from like that point when we started questioning, people were saying and coming up from the dungeon saying they got scratched,
and there's was like growling.
Yeah,
and weird.
And we never had that before. We never had anybody whatsoever get scratched. But I find it ironic. Right around that time period, people were coming up and saying, and they literally, some people had scratches on them.
Yep.
So I just find that a little bit ironic.
One.
Uh-oh.
There's a fire.
There's a fire.
Someone's fired.
Well, they have everybody on alert because they said to stock up, keep an extra power source because of how heavy the winds are going to be. The freezing cold, they said keep your faucets dripping, keep your kitchen cabinet door open underneath the sink. Okay, let's see. Since having that experience with that dark entity, would you take on a case if someone requests to help identify what's going on and what it is? We actually kind of did take a case after that.
Actually, kind of.
Eric, I think everybody's sensitive in their own way. Eric, on certain times, will pick up stuff, but not to the caliber that me and Gabriella does.
Yeah, Eric doesn't really sense things. Like, so, how would I describe this? Eric, he's good at communicating with spirits if they talk to him first, like through the spirit box or something exactly. Like that. But he won't like pick up on the energy around unless
beforehand.
Yeah, unless or he at least if he does, because I can't really speak for him, but if he does, he hasn't really said like, oh,
here in the house, so there has been times where he says, Mom, I'm not saying that I'm sensitive or psychic or anything, but he says, I just have that feeling that something was following me or something like that. So I'm going to say yes to a point, but again, everybody's supposed to have that ability. I mean, because of
I
your
think
third eye.
everybody's sensitive. They
Because
just have
everybody
to
has a
figure
third
out how
eye.
to
Yeah, stimulate
work
that
with
third
it.
eye and work with it and everything else. But to answer your question again, yeah, we actually have. We took on actually, was it two or three? Well, three personal cases, home cases. One we did not put on our YouTube channel because we were helping a gentleman that he had autism, and I guess there was a psychic or somebody had gone prior to us being there, and he believed that he was being visited by demons or something. There was demons in his bedroom, and kind of I think the psychics or whoever was there before kind of almost made him believe that. And we went in, and he wasn't being visited by demons. We found out that we're pretty sure it was his father was visiting him.
Well, that and that rock.
Yeah.
He brought something in because he collects rocks like me. And he found a really big, shiny rock in his driveway, and he brought it in, and I immediately went over to that rock and was like, "Where'd you get this from?" He was like, "Oh, just the driveway." I was like, "Ooh." Depending on where this, like, place was built on top of it.
But it wasn't anything demonic or evil.
No,
it
just had a weird
it did have a
energy
presence to it, yeah. And between, he said he actually heard somebody talking to him and watching him and stuff like that. But ironically, when we talked to the spirit box and we used our spirit talker and that, we kept on getting the number 8. Like the caretaker of this young man, he was skeptic like you would not believe, but he said, "Would you mind if I sit in while you guys are doing your thing?" And he stayed in the room next to where the guy's bedroom was. And as we were investigating, he heard us asking all the questions, and we kept on getting the number 8, where they're like, "Why is the number 8 coming up?" And then we got like reference to his father, and we got all these different things. And when we come out, we said, well, good news is we do not feel that there's anything negative in this room, that anything that's going to harm you. And the caretaker said, well, can I be honest with you? And we're there like, yeah, is there something you need to tell us? And he says, well, I was listening, and he says, I'm losing my mind more or less, because he said, I'm a skeptic. He says, but I'm going to be honest with you. You guys made me a believer because you kept on saying the number 8 and some of those things that you're saying. I can explain all of that. And he explained to us what every bit of those things that we were getting, he point on was able to explain everything that he heard us. So where they're like, well, okay, damn. So if anybody thought, I mean, I wish in a way we would have been able to videotape it so we could have had that, to show everybody that, hey, we're not full of shit when we're investigating.
Yeah.
But, it was a young man who was autistic. He was afraid. That poor guy was like, he was shaking in fear from what he thought he was seeing and feeling in that. And I'll tell you what, right before we left, you could see a whole change in his demeanor. He felt a lot more at peace, and he thanked us a ton of times, and so did the caretaker. So that made us feel good.
There was that one, and then at Chase's
I forgot about that place. I forgot, but I wasn't there on that one.
At Chase's mother's job, which she is a caretaker, she had this guy. His name was Richard, and I say was because unfortunately he did pass away, but he was, he had dementia and Alzheimer's and a lot of like older people diseases. Are they diseases?
They would be considered that.
Mental health challenges.
Yeah, well.
We'll go with that one. And he kept on saying that he saw his wife and he would talk to his wife. Well, she passed away, like, I guess years before. And then Chase's mom was like, we've been seeing weird things in, like, this mirror. And in his room, we have, like, a baby monitor, and it keeps on going off. And we keep on hearing, like, things through the baby monitor. And seeing, like, shadows and things, like, going towards him at night. And some good way to find people. Yeah.
And that's what they did, Linda. They, a psychic or whoever was there, he tells them that he thinks that there's a demon in his room, and automatically they tell him that there's a demon in your room. And I'm sorry, that was not even close to being the case. There was no
demonic presence in that house at all.
Yeah, and plus the fact too, why would you tell somebody with autism, oh yeah, you have a demon in your room? Like, you know, there's special needs as it is, and you have to be very careful how you approach them because they're special needs, they're actually more sensitive than anybody else. Why would you approach them like that? You're going to do everything to try to keep them nice and calm and assure them, hey, you know, we don't know, buddy, and that's how we approach it. We don't know, buddy, what we're going to find, but I assure you, you know, we will let you know. But right now, we will tell you, we do not feel like there's anything bad in your room. And we didn't find anything bad.
No, nothing at all. But continuing, going back to Richard's house, he was a very religious man. He had holy water in little tiny vials all around his place.
He tried to be a priest.
He, for some reason, failed at being a priest. Like, when he was just about to become one, he somehow failed at it, never fully became a priest. But he had crosses everywhere. There was Jesus pictures up everywhere. There was all this religious stuff everywhere. Crosses galore in his room, in his living room, everywhere. So I didn't listen to when Chase's mom said, there's something behind that mirror, that's why we keep it covered. And I was like, oh,
you should have known that, though, from South Carolina.
Well, I was like, as soon as I got up to it, I was like, oh, this is such a bad idea, but whatever. I think it's just my nerves because of my experiences in South Carolina with the freaking mirrors in my room. But I didn't listen to my gut, and I uncovered it, and immediately, I think, what I call it, because I believe full-heartedly that this is what it was, a number popped up in front of my face, and I think that was my angel number, and my angel was like, you need to back the fuck away from this mirror before it, like, whatever's in there gets you. And I was like,
you feel it was a portal?
It was weird because it was kind of like, it was all black. You saw nothing in it, not even your own reflection. And somehow just a number popped up in front of my eyes. And it was 613. And I
thought your number was 618. It's 613. Oh, okay.
It was always 613.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't remember that stuff.
But even after the whole, like, mirror incident happened where a literal number popped in front of my face, I was like, okay, this is weird.
It almost sounds like it turned into a scrying mirror to you, because they turn all black.
It was weird. It was, like, fully black. There was no reflection of anything in it. It almost did feel like a portal. Like, you could just touch it and it would lead you to nowhere good. But I wasn't going to touch it. I did not touch that freaking mirror. But I was right in front of it. My number popped up, and I closed it, and then I had like a full panic attack. And I didn't want to tell his mother because I was like, well, she's probably going to think that I'm faking it or that I'm being over dramatic or, anxiety. So I kind of took care of that in the bathroom by myself. And then Chase was like, Chase came in. Well, he like knocked on the door. I was like, yes. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, I hate to tell you this, but I went in there by myself, looked in the mirror, and this is what I saw. Then, if this doesn't convince you that it was, I'm pretty sure that it was my angel number. If this doesn't convince you, on our way back from his house, in the tree line, I also saw 613. And I was like, okay, this isn't a coincidence. Why did I see that number in the mirror? And now in like the tree line, I should just see trees. What is happening? And then I was like, well, now I have to remember that number. And I searched it up.
That's what gets me mad when people like say anything like, Gabriella actually kind of got picked on when we were at the jail because, and it wasn't the owner, but it was somebody associated with the owner. Gabriella had a panic attack in the jail, and Abby had a panic attack in the jail. And there was a comment made to them that, well, geez, if you're going to have a panic attack, you shouldn't be in this line of work.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, that was the first insult against my family. The other one was calling my family stupid. That was the second one. But I kind of got back on the first one because Gabriella had that experience in the jail. Abby was up on the 3rd level, and at the one spot up there, she had her panic attack that she had trouble breathing. She went down on her knees and she cried. She broke down and cried. 3 or 4 of our tour people, when they got up on that 3rd level in that exact same spot, had the exact type of experience happened to them. We had a psychic come in. We didn't say anything to her at all. We got up on that 3rd level. She's right in that exact same spot. And she says, oh, I'm feeling like a tightness in my chest. I'm almost like I can't breathe. And you could see like she was starting to get a little teary-eyed. She says, there's something, I almost feel like I'm going to have a panic attack. There's something like here in this area. And I looked at Abby. Abby looked at me. We looked at her, and they're like, well, that's ironic that you said that because, and then they told her, and she said, yeah, there's something here. And there was a couple other people after that. So we go back and we begin to tell the owner, like, well, okay, guess what happened up on that 3rd spot where Abby had her panic attack? And the psychic started telling, and I said, yeah, and along with about 3 or 4 other tour people that we had taken through the jail, said the same thing. And he kind of looked like, oh, I guess we were wrong. He didn't say that, but you could get that vibe come off of, well, geez, I guess we were wrong.
Yeah, and the day that I was supposed to go and take some people around and tour and give them a tour and everything, that was the day that I had my panic attack. I was like, oh, I can't do this. And then I went into the office area, and that's when the person associated with the owner was like, oh, well, if you're going to have that many panic attacks, maybe this isn't the right line of work for you and your family. And I was like, already having my panic attack, trying to calm down, that made it 10 times worse. And so I'm like crying my eyes out, panicking, having all this anxiety built up inside of me. And I was so close to looking at this
That's how you knew he was an idiot, and he knew not one damn thing about the paranormal. And yet, and I don't want to be this way, but yet he's taken our baby, our thing that we started over there. He gets rid of us, and he knows nothing about it, but he's continuing it over there and making money off of what we started for him. like he was supposed to be putting retail and everything in there, but he's taken our baby, what we started, and he's reaping profits off of our whole.
If it wasn't for us,
he would have
that
lost
place
that
would
building
probably
already.
be down.
He would have lost the building already. I'm pretty damn sure of it.
It probably would have been bulldozed and just gone.
But no negativity. I'm not, you know.
After Gabriella pulled off the color, after Gabriella pulled off the cover of Mirror, your guardian angels and spirits
Gotta be like, woo.
Yeah.
Why did he want to run so? Well, he just like he never understood it. And the thing that drives me crazy, and like I said, I don't want to continue on that because it does fire me up because there's so much. I have a thought, but I don't want to say it. We opened up and started such a great thing, and he never wanted anything to do. He said he didn't believe in that stuff. That wasn't his forte, but he says, this is great. He says, because you got this part up and running, and he says, that's all yours. I don't even want to be involved in the paranormal part because then I can concentrate on my other business and concentrate on getting the other businesses and the building, the other retail and stuff and that I want to put in. That's all yours. I don't want nothing to do with it. But yet when we started getting very successful and bringing in all these people, it lured him more and lured him more. And he saw that we were drawn in a lot of groups and everything, and we were getting a lot of compliments. And all of a sudden, oh, don't do this until you take it through me. Don't do that until you ask me. Don't do this. Ask me first. And it's like he always said, wait. And anything that we wanted to do. And then he started not getting the money that he was making before we were running it on our own. And then he started just going in his own direction, and everything started going amok. And he turned around and made it like we weren't doing our job right or whatever. But, you know, like I said, no negativity. We're moving on. That's, yeah.
That's what happened.
And that was never about it for us. That was never about it. I was always, from the time I was a little girl, drawn to that building. And when we first contacted him, we only contacted him to begin with to see if we could have an investigation in there. And we told him we would help him clean up the building and get some tours and stuff and that in there and maybe get some people to investigate. He came through and said, hey, I think we can become partners. He says, I like the idea. I like what you have to offer. He offered the partnership, and we took off. In those first couple months, we had phenomenal. And then when he seen how well it went, he come back earlier than what he was supposed to from the state that he was living in. And he started jumping in. And when he jumped in and put everything through the computer online and started setting up all this other stuff, and just we had everything, instead of letting us run and just him do the business part of it, instead of us running it, he had to, okay, well, run this through me first so I can see. And then the prices we set, he always wanted higher. There was promos that I wanted to do a couple times. Let's just have everybody do tours all day, $10 a tour. Yeah, that's cheap. But well, Diane, we can't give this away for free. I'm to think about it. $10 a pop. You're going to have lines down the street lining up because they're going to say, hey, we've always wanted to see it, and $10. That's very affordable. I'm going to bring my whole family. For such a great businessman, he couldn't get that concept. But then yet he allowed a festival to be thrown over there where he hardly made any money off of it. The festival that was thrown was a free festival. That was not for profit. That was for just a memory of the person who was throwing it. But that all turned gawky too. So, but again, I don't want to go in that. Because it's just not, I don't want to go there because this is a new year, new beginning. No ugliness. So let's see. We're all, well, y'all great, good vibes, good intentions, professional kind. You're going to get in. Oh, thank you. That means a lot to us. And that's our goal. That's what we've said from the get-go. we're not out trying to prove anything to anybody. We just we want to do what we love. That building, we loved that building and everything about it, or we want to pursue and put all that hard work into getting it cleaned up enough for people to go in and open up, and getting the pay that we got sometime, which really sucked, and still keeping it going if we didn't have the passion for what we were doing. Yeah. And the people loved us. They come in every time people left, they said, you can guarantee we'll be back. I mean, they had good, I mean, if he took them off, I don't think you can find them now, but I have them saved. If you look back on all the reviews, our team was, they were very knowledgeable. They were very kind. They were very friendly. We had all good reviews. There was not one bad review, ironically, even from Chase, because he was the one that got a couple on some of our videos, unfortunately. But all good reviews. There was not one bad review from anyone. So, yeah, we're already talking about. I told Abby the other day too. I said, Abby, even until we get some investigations in, let's try. I think maybe February, which is just right here around the corner, to start getting guests to come on Lurking Spirit, so we can at least have some content on there until we can secure a location and get the location started. Because what we want to do is secure enough where we have right straight through spring, summer, and fall, and then that way if we have to take a hiatus again for the winter because how cold and how our weather is here, then we will have still content that we can show throughout that period. So but with that all said, does anybody have any questions about anything yet? Any more questions? So we're at an hour and 11 minutes. So we can either call it a night, or I can start from the beginning and read all 6 of those sections of that AI siren story, or I can read what I've written so far and put to be continued on that, or we can just call it a night. Linda says story.
I agree. I want to hear the story.
Yeah, time flew. Yeah, because I looked up and we've been on for an hour and 12 minutes already. So wow. So okay, for the ones that are saying story, what do you want to hear so that I know what to pull up? Do you want me to reread that AI one and finish those parts up? Like I can restart from the beginning again and reread that, or I can read so far what I've written on my story. So let me know. Your pick. No, not my pick. Your pick.
Hey, what's up?
So what do you want to hear?
I want to hear what you wrote.
Flip a coin. You want to hear what I wrote?
I want to hear.
Okay, we'll go with what I wrote. And now it's not real exciting yet, but I mean, the to be continued. I'm hoping that I can add some really cool stuff in it, because I've got all these ideas going on, how it's going to go, and if anybody will not make it, or if everybody will not make it, or if everybody survives, or whatever. So, I think your dad, if there was any, there would be in the room. The only thing I have right now, I think, is my popcorn. Yeah, I think your dad ate the rest of the chips. So, you want some of my popcorn, or do you want a couple Mallow cups?
No Mallow cups, because my throat.
Oh, that's right. You could open that up and have like half a bag of that. They haven't been real cheesy, though. I'm going to tell you that. They've been kind of being a little jippy on the.
You expect me to eat only half a bag of that?
I can get a couple more bags if you want to eat the whole bag. I don't give a shit. Okay, so this is going to be Of course, it's on Sirens. Um, I called it Our Adventure at Chippewa Isle. So, are you doing what you was thinking there? You're gonna wait.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Until it's completed.
Okay. So, like I said, this is not finished by far, but I've already got there's 10 pages. So, we'll see. Okay. After quite a long hiatus because of unforeseen circumstances, winter, holidays, and illnesses, Lurking Spirits Paranormal announced their return. It has never been an easy journey securing great places to investigate, unlike other teams, but somehow Lurking Spirits always manage to come up with something. They have always managed to find places that no others seem to have investigated, and it always made their experiences quite satisfying. As our team was seeking something new and something amazing, Dylan was always there trying to help. Even, even though he didn't investigate, he did participate in any way that he could help. One day after work, I heard, Mama. He always called me that. And there stood Dylan. He had a big smile on his face, and he said to me, I may have found you a great place to investigate. He proceeded to tell me about his co-worker knew of this small island within the lakes about 3 to 3.5 hours away from us. The island is not well known by many, but those who have heard of it tell of an urban legend that surrounds it, the legend of Chippewa Isle. And it was quite interesting one, and it goes along with the ones that we were talking about on our show. The story goes that one day a young man who was out sailing ran across this small island hidden in between the rocky ledges of a lake. As he passed this area, he slowed his ship down as he was curious upon seeing it. The strangest thing about this island was that the waters were calm and the winds were mild, but as he approached closer to the isle, the waves clashed hard against the rocks and the winds picked up suddenly. Then they stopped immediately, almost as quickly as they begun. Very strange indeed. Then he heard what he thought was a humming sound, but he dismissed it, as he figured that it was just the wind blowing through the jagged rocks. But then the humming picked up again, this time louder and almost as if it contained a tune. He swore he could hear whispers and faint voices. His mind went numb. He was confused. Wind could mimic hums, but the echoing sounds of whispers and voices, he could not explain that. Even though he was becoming slightly uneasy, his curiosity got the best of him, and he decided to sail even closer. He looked ahead and thought he saw some figures on the island near where he could see and hear the voices. It must be just his imagination, just playing games with him. He moved his boat even closer to check the situation. This time the sounds grew louder and he swore he heard his own name being sung in a very soft melodic tone, calling out to him. This is insane, he thought. This island is abandoned. I bet not many people even realize it's here, and it's like someone is hidden in between the rock, and it's somewhat hidden in between the rocky ledge. But then he thought, if I came across this, maybe somebody else did too. But where's their ship? Did they wreck among the jagged rocks? Do they need help? How long have they been stranded here? I better check this out and seek help if they're in trouble. But then why am I hearing my name being called out in a musical tone? Too many questions. My mind's going wild, and I must find out. He checked the shoreline to see if he could find a secure and safe place to dock his vessel. He found a section where the rocks weren't as jaggy and the waves weren't as treacherous, and he pulled his boat up alongside. The voices seemed more distant now, but he could hear that slight humming from afar. He stopped the engine on the boat and threw down the anchor. It was now time to explore the island and assess the situation. As he stepped onto the shoreline, he started to feel uneasy. A strange feeling overcame him. He couldn't explain it. He began to feel dizzy, and thoughts of dread overwhelmed him. He stood still for a few minutes, recomposed himself, and set off on his little journey. His first thought was to go in the direction of where he first heard the humming and where he thought he saw those figures. He heard some rustling in the bushes. He called out if anyone was there and asked if they were in trouble and needed help. No one answered, but the voices and that humming, it began again, this time even louder. He moved closer. His name began being called out again, this time clearer and almost in a chanting rhythmic song. The hairs behind his neck stood up. What's going on? He walked at a slower pace, observing every inch of land all around him, not knowing what to expect. The chanting turned into a song and grew even louder. He took a few more steps and could not believe what he saw in front of him. Two women were standing there. Their beauty was captivating, and their harmonic song put him into a trance-like state. He froze solid in his tracks. He wanted to run, but yet he also wanted to stay. He was confused. He was cast almost into a spell by these women. They brought out all of his deepest secrets and showed him things he just could not resist. They used him and took control of him. They got what they wanted from him, his life. No one knows what happened to this young sailor. His body was never found, but his ship was discovered where he docked it. The only sign of him was a recording he left of what he was hearing before he decided to check out the island. No one will probably ever find out the true story of his adventure, but over time, speculations of what happened began to transpire and the legend began. Over the course of years, researchers found other stories about that island and the story of sirens who lured sailors to them with their enchanting voices and songs and brought them to their demise. Claims of bones and shipwreck vessels were told, but no proof or evidence was ever found about them involving the sailors or any others. Lurking Spirits was excited about this. After all, we were skeptical of many of these types of legends, but if bones were found there, then there must be paranormal activity there. We told Dylan to get the info we needed to go there, and the team would gather together and discuss how we would go about this new adventure. This would be quite different than our normal investigations, but it'd be new and exciting and a great way to reboot our channel. We were looking forward to this. Dylan talked to his co-worker, and we needed to talk to a gentleman named Alex. Alex was the person who owned the boat, and he kept it docked at a private place only a few hours away from Chippewa Isle. Alex was hoping to find a crew to check out the island, as he had always been curious about it himself, but never went there. He was very thrilled when we contacted him. We worked out a time and date, and we were ready for a day/night to remember for the rest of our lives. Our crew was going to be Alex. He was going to be the captain of the boat, of course. Our team, Chase, Abby, Gabriella, Eric, and myself. And Dylan also decided that he wanted to join us on this trip this time. Because of all the craziness with the paranormal community and the accusations of fakery and such, we offered a few others to join us in as fellow investigators and witnesses. We would be joined by a few of our best supporters, Cactus, Douglas, B Squared, and of course, Linda. Everyone was pumped up about this trip. We made a list of supplies we needed or wanted to take with us, and plenty of batteries and SD cards. We did not want to miss anything. Since the legend of the island was sirens, I purchased a bird listening device with a long-range amplification to detect sounds at a further distance. Even though I was still skeptical of the myth, I wanted to have something I felt would capture the sounds a good distance prior to arriving at the island.
They said, yippee, wow.
It was bright and very early on a Saturday morning, and everyone met at our house. We had a long drive ahead of us to the port, and then another long sail from the dock to the island. One essential item I wanted to make sure everyone had was a pair of headsets and their phone or something like a radio that could keep them distracted by, just in case. It was very strange because I was talking to everyone about this in particular. I almost felt like we were getting ready to do an episode of Stranger Things and we needed our headphones and music to stay safe from Vecna. I chuckled to myself as this thought and image went through my head. Our crew bought our normal gear plus some odds and ends like bells, balls, and even a few music boxes as a lure. Everyone was well supplied with their EVP recorders, a camera, and their own little gems that they wanted to bring. Since we would not be able to stop and eat anywhere, we packed plenty of food and drinks to keep us nourished and made little snack bags for us once we got up onto the island. Finally, we went off on our way. We met Alex at the port around 10 a.m. He was already on the boat and was doing the final preparations and pre-trip checklist. Everyone introduced themselves to him and we boarded the ship and was on our way. I, for one, was not fond of being on a ship, and I know Eric isn't either, so we were quite nervous, but kept our minds on what we may encounter ahead of us on the island. The trip from the dock to the island was only about an hour and a half away. We would arrive there by noon. We would find a place to stop along the shore, have our lunch, and then we would go ashore. I didn't want anyone to pass out from not having any food, that's for sure. When we were about 10 minutes from the island, Alex announced that we would be nearing it shortly. I told someone to pick up the Bird EVP amplifier and see if they could hear anything. Linda volunteered immediately and with a lot of enthusiasm. She placed the headphones on and listened carefully. We were amazed at how well it worked. She was amazed at how well it worked. She said she could hear the birds chirping on the island and could even hear the slight sound of the waves clashing against the shore. She heard nothing unusual. As we got nearer to the island, we noticed an area where the rocks were more jagged along the shore than the rest of the shoreline. It was strange because even the waves seemed to clash harder against the rocks and wind seemed to be much stronger than the remainder of the shoreline. Odd. Maybe this is exactly the place where the legend happened. Alex steered the boat to a smoother area where he could easily anchor the boat and we could stop, enjoy lunch, and be off on our little adventure. We had no experiences of strong whispers or humming at this point. We started to believe what we were going to experience on this trip would be strictly paranormal, something like spiritual, ghostly, things like that. But we were still thrilled to be there. We had enjoyed our lunch, shared a few stories and laughs, and then all of us, one by one, exited the boat, gear in hand. Alex remained on the boat and was going to do some recording from there and will most likely join us later. We thought it would be a great idea to split up, but in teams to explore the island. Abby, Gabriella, Linda, Cactus, B Squared joined me. Chase, Dylan, and Eric were teamed up with Douglas. And if at any time anybody wanted to change and do a switch up, we agreed that it would be fine, but we wanted no one ever to go anywhere on the island ever alone. The men took off to the left in the direction of the jagged rocks where we thought the legend may have started. Our women team went straight ahead. Since we were in the bright daylight, our first goal was just to go around placing cameras and equipment in areas that looked interesting and had a good location to catch possible activity. The guys approached the area near the jagged rocks slowly and cautiously. The first thing they noticed was there was no sounds at all, only those of the waves clashing against the rocks and the wind, which picked up, whirling through the air. Odd. No birds singing, no crickets chirping. Normal sounds this year you would hear, they heard nothing. Very strange indeed. They found an open spot within the new view of the rocky shoreline and set a camera on there. They stood silently for a few moments and listened closely for anything unusual. Chase told the guys that he wanted to go in the area deeper to investigate.. Dylan, Eric, and Douglas told him it was not a good idea. Chase, being curious as he always is, moved forward deeper through the open area and into a wooded section across from it and disappeared out of sight. The guys did not like this, so they headed in that direction too, slowly, but at a quick enough pace to fall not too far behind. Running footsteps, rustling, rustling trees, and then Chase pushing past them saying, "We need to get out of here." His breathing was heavy and his face was pale white. The guys stopped him and asked what happened. Chase, short of breath at this time and still quite razzled, answered, "There's something over there. Something not good." He began to tell them that first he heard brush and twigs moving. An icy cold breeze passed straight through him, and then he could hardly speak. He said he saw something. Not sure what it was, but this feeling suddenly overcame him, one of being in great danger and the intense feeling of dread and death. He said he reached for his headphones for distraction, but luckily was able to turn and run away from the danger. He was clearly shaken and frightened to death. Then they decided to head back to check on the ladies. And to be continued. That's where it is right now. And I like a zillion things going through my head. Yeah, sirens in the background. We're talking about sirens. So there we go. The women there'll be things happening. So this whole weekend I will be working on that story. And who will survive? Will any of us survive? Will all of us survive? What will happen? Will Alex join in? Does Alex know something that he didn't tell us? Until then, it'll be continued. So Tuesday probably then for the other side I will have it on. So I have different endings in my mind, and I'm trying to figure out which ending I want to go. And somehow I will tell you that Alex, somehow, some way, some form, is going to be a big something involved in it, and Gabriella's intuitions are going to be a big part of it. So I hope you like it. I know it's not real exciting, but hey, I kind of written it up pretty quick, so
I like it.
This is what Gabriella was going to do, and it was funny because I kind of rewrote it. I had a different, shorter version initially written up, and Eric liked it, and I told him, I said, I rewrote it, and he said, well, it really didn't need rewritten. But then I think this is the first time Gabriella heard it. I did read it to Eric, and he liked the new one better. But it was funny because when I read the first one to Gabriella as I was reading it, she was doing visuals and she was doing sound effects. So what is going on out there?
Somebody's causing trouble.
That was a fire truck.
Yeah, it's going up that way.
Yep, so they're...
Well, what happens when it gets this cold out and windy? People's furnaces fires because they use propane heaters and kerosene heaters and to keep, because if they lose power.
I know last year was a lot of flooding.
Well, it's too cold to flood. Unless, well, even if a pipeline broke, it would probably freeze instantaneously because it's that cold out. So, I'm glad you guys like that. Oh, thank you, Cactus, and thank you, Linda. That means a lot to me. So, like I said, I will work on it this weekend. Like I said, keep in your head: will there be survivors? Will there not be survivors?
It was funny when she was reading it to me and Abby and Eric. I think.
Yeah, Eric was there.
So me, Abby, and Eric, and
our snow's supposed to start anytime from like 7 o'clock tomorrow night. right straight through Monday.
Yeah, it's just cold out right now.
Yeah, it's like we're talking. Let me do an update here right now on, because before it was like felt like 4 degrees below or something like that, and right now the temperature's 4 degrees, and it said it feels like 11 below.
Well, nope, it just turned 1 degree less. It's
it dropped to 3 degrees now, and it says the temperature feels like 11 below zero, and it's supposed to get a lot colder than that because they said we might hit like 20 below or something tonight. It's cold. So, but yeah, I will. Like I said, I know Alex, the owner of the boat, is going to have an important part in it. Now, I have different scenarios how I may write him.
Which is funny because when she showed us the first version of it, she's like, Alex is just going to be the boat driver. He's just going to take us there and we're going to do our business and whatever happens, and he's going to live. I was like,
why does Alex got to live?
Why does he get to live?
That's what she said.
First of all, you need to make him part of this now because he was curious about the island too. So there's no way that he's just going to stay on the boat the whole time.
I have a plot twist involving him. One of the plot twists involving him.
But when she was reading the first, poor Gabby, tunnel home so you don't go outside. Well,
yeah, it's only a matter of like, there's our door. There's the porch, there's her door. So it's just like
it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be freezing when I go out there.
Yeah.
But anyways, so when she was reading us the first like part of it, well, there's definitely something going on.
Yeah.
I think that was a police car.
Jeez.
I was in a very hyper mood. Abby was there. Eric was there. Everybody was in the living room. And I was in a very hyper mood. So every time that she said something, like she was reading parts of it, like he heard the wind, or he heard the voices in the wind and the humming. He heard the humming in the wind. I was like, She's like, got louder. So we had like this visual.
And she did like motions and like
and we had to come up with a name for the guy on the boat because she didn't have a name for him.
No, I did have a name for him right from the beginning. I had Alex already in there.
Okay, well then never mind.
Yeah, because see, where did it go? Where did it go? I might have thrown it away. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I should never throw the initial one away. Like I should always keep even. I don't think I did though. I bet you it fell out where the notebook was.
But yeah, I was hyper that day, and she was reading it to us, and I was just going along with what she was saying.
And Eric and Abby's laughing, and I'm reading it to them because they wanted to hear it, and I'm looking over and I'm laughing as I'm reading, and it was funny. But that's how she wanted to do this whole thing. If I would have had the whole entire story written, she wanted to do visuals and sound effects to that whole entire story.
So once she completes it and then rereads the entire thing, if I'm up to it, I'm going to do that.
Well, I'm not going to reread the entire thing, am I? I'm just going to pick up from where I left off, I believe, right?
You can do that, I guess.
Well, there's going to be more things where you could do sound effects too in what I'm going to write yet. So that's up to you. That's up to them, because if it wasn't for them, we would probably still be doing this. But
LOL, love that. Feel free to record an audio version with the sound.
Yeah, it was so funny. And I told her, I said, Gabriella, when I read that, I said, you probably should do that on there, because I said, you guys you are so devoted and so supportive as it is, and you love her little things that she always throws in, even with our little research subjects and everything, and that I said they're gonna love that if you do that. So
we'll see.
But yeah, so we're at 139. I'm glad you guys like the story. You know what? We can. Oh, there will be a grand storytelling night. All the story. I mean,
See all the stories. We want to hear it from beginning to end.
well, I'm going to type it out too. When I finish it, I'm going to have my copy written, well, printed, and then I'm going to actually type out a printed off copy. I can do this on a regular basis if you guys want. Like if we have a topic and it's something like the sirens, that you can actually have a nice good story to go with it. I can do that. We have time to. Those other things are pretty short. Those last three, I can read those real quick before we finish on here because they were short. They weren't very long. I think that'll be like another maybe 5 minutes if that. Let me see.
It'll be a long stream tonight.
Okay, so we were at 4, 5, and 6. Does everybody even remember the first part of that story, or do you want me? Maybe I should just wait and reread that story too, huh?
Awesome, you're spoiling us.
Well,
tonight.
okay.
No, yeah.
So let's see, 4. So if we remember, at the end of the third one, the vessel was found and the names carved was Mariah, Jonah, Ella, Rose, and Thomas. And then it carried on and went on and on and on. And then, let's see, part 5. I got things. That was a 5. It was 4 or 5, right? Because I did 1, 2, and 3.
Hold on. Let me see.
No, I don't
No,
think
we didn't read that one.
So
she lied. Forget that she ever said that.
I'm sorry. So part 4 is the sirens, the harbor that should not exist. Says the road that led them there did not appear on any map. Eric noticed at first a thin strip of asphalt cutting between 2 walls of twisted pine that hadn't been there an hour earlier. That wasn't here, he whispered. Angelina slowed the van. The headlights revealed a rusted sign barely clinging to its post. Welcome to Blackwater Harbor. Nope, Douglas muttered. We're absolutely not going there. But the engine sputtered, then died. Silence swallowed the forest. They stepped out into the air that smelled like salt and old rain. Far ahead, a pale glow shimmered through the trees, moonlight reflecting off water that should not exist this far inland. Linda's EMF meter cracked wildly. It's like something broadcasting, she said. Not a signal, not a call. A call. The further they walked, the colder it became until frost formed and fallen leaves beneath their boots. And they saw it. A harbor. Perfectly wooden docks. Still black water. Boats gently rocking with no wind. Every vessel was old. Fishing trawlers, sailboats, even paddle boats, all bearing names carved deep into their hulls. Mariah, Jonah, Ella Rose, Thomas. Eric swallowed. Those are missing persons. They've covered from those cases. None of them had ever been found. A sound drifted across the water. Soft, beautiful, impossible to ignore. And a woman's voice sang, slow, mournful, and sweet. B Squared grabbed his head. It's inside my thoughts. Angelina felt her legs moving before her mind could stop them. Each note wrapped around her heart, filling her with images that weren't hers. Moonlit dinners, warm laughter, promises whispered on a shore she had never seen. A shape rose from the water, then another, then dozens. They weren't fully human. Their skin shimmered like wet pearl. Their eyes glowed faint blue. Long dark hair floated around faces too perfect to belong to anything real. The sirens had been waiting. and they were smiling. One stepped onto the dock. Her voice changed, no longer a song but a whisper that still echoed inside their minds. "You have found our harbor," she said. "You have heard our call. Now you must choose." She gestured to the boats. "Leave one of your own, and the rest may go." The water beneath the docks began to ripple. Something massive moved below. Linda whispered, trembling, "They don't kill you, they keep you." And from beneath the black surface, faint voices rose, pleading, crying, begging, voices of the missing, still alive, still trapped. For some reason, I felt like I read that part before. Part 5. The harbor, the price of leaving. The harbor lights flickered. The water went completely still. The siren on the dock smiled wider, and that was when they saw it. Her teeth were not human. They were long, glass smooth, designed to hold, not tear. "You misunderstood," she whispered gently. "We do not hunt. We preserve." She extended a pale hand towards the boats. "Your kind fades so quickly. We keep what is beautiful, what is loved, what is remembered." A low, distant moan rolled under the docks, the sound of something enormous shifting in the deep. B Squared suddenly stepped forward. Her eyes were unfocused. "She's showing me my mother," she murmured. "She says she forgives me." Angelina grabbed her just in time. "Don't listen," she shouted. The sirens began singing again, softer, slower, the kind of lullaby meant for children. Eric collapsed to his knees. Linda's EMF meter explodes in sparks, and from the water, hands began to rise. Human hands, dozens of them, pale, trembling, gripping the dock edges, trying to pull themselves up, but no one could. Something beneath the surface held them in place. Their mouths opened. No sound came out. Douglas shouted, "What happens to them?" The siren tilted her head sweetly. "They live," she said. "They remember their happiest moments. They never grow old." "Forever?" Angelina asked. The siren nodded. "Forever." A massive shadow rolled down the harbor, so large it made the boat sway. The siren leaned closer. "One of you," she whispered, "or all of them stay." Then the water erupted. A colossal shape surfaced, half flesh, half coral, its body wrapped in chains of bone and rusted anchors. Its eyes opened, hundreds of glowing blue eyes, all watching. Eric stood up slowly. "I'll stay," he said. Angelina spun around. "No! They already own part of me," he whispered. "I hear them when I sleep." He stepped towards the dock. The sirens parted for him like royalty welcoming a king. The water began to glow. Behind him, B Squared screamed, "We won't forget you!" Eric turned back one last time. He smiled and stepped into the black water. The surface closed. No splash, no ripple, just silence. "Eric, no! No, Eric!" The boats began drifting. The road back through the forest reappeared. The sirens sank beneath the surface, their voices fading into a gentle hum. And far away, a new boat creaked softly at the dock, its name freshly carved. Eric. Part 5, or Part 6. What followed them home? They never spoke about Eric on the ride back. No, because they didn't want to, but because every time one of them tried, their throat locked, as if something unseen pressed fingers gently but firmly against their windpipes. Linda was the first to notice it. At 2:17, her bedroom radio clicked on by itself. Static filled the room. Then a voice, distant, warped, but unmistakable. She sat upright in bed. Her EMF meter lying on her nightstand burst to life. From the static came the sound of water lapping against the wood, docks, and faint singing. Douglas found wet footsteps in his hallway, bare, too long to be human. They led to his bathroom mirror where someone had written in condensation, "We kept our promise." B squared stopped sleeping. Every time she closed her eyes, she stood on the Blackwater dock again, boats rocking, moonlight on still water, and Eric standing knee-deep in the harbor smiling, calling his name. "Come see what I've become." Angelina tried to destroy the footage. The camera they've been recording with wouldn't delete. Instead, new files kept appearing, always recorded at 3:07 a.m. Every file showed the same thing, a view from the harbor and a boat rocking slowly. Each night, the name carved into its side changed. First, Eric, then Linda, then Douglas, then Angelina. The singing began drifting through their houses, through headphones, through phone calls, through voicemail messages. A lullaby with no lyrics, only memory, only longing. Then one night, B squared answered a call from an unknown number. She pressed the phone to her ear and heard Eric whisper, "They're building me a boat for you." The next morning, B squared was gone. Her phone lay on the dock of a small inland marina 3 towns away, wet, still playing the siren song. Some harbors should never be found, and some calls are never meant to be answered.
Yeah,
The
B
end.
squared, why'd you answer the damn phone?
Gosh dang
You
it.
know, it was an unfamiliar number.
Are we going to
Why
have
would
to
you do
sit and
that?
have a talk to you before you step on that island any further than where you're at, so something don't happen to you? For goodness sake.
Can't believe you would
Who
do
is
that.
this?
I don't know, but that's very nice.
That is so very nice of you. Thank you. You're wonderful. Thank you for showing up. So, you guys like that?
I think that was pretty good.
So we can do this on a regular basis. Like I said, now that was AI. Of course, AI is a lot more exciting than my story, but I can do my little thing if I can find an AI one like that.
Pass the tissue box.
that was poor Eric, and then it looks like the rest of them met their demise too. So that was one where nobody lived, or hardly anybody lives.
Eric dies first, then B squared. What the heck?
B squared, shame on you.
Shame, shame.
You never listen. But no, I enjoyed this. I'm sure we're going on 2 hours. You guys are amazing. We can't say that enough. You say such nice things to us. You come back week after week, even though we're a little bit.
A little bit. A little bit.
I think
Yeah.
we will let that go. So, but I love doing this. I love having you guys on here. And our next show, now I don't think we'll have a surprise one this weekend unless we come up with something that with these guys have to see this. But I will write the rest of the story, have it ready for Tuesday. I was going to do a subject on Tuesday, but I think me and Gabriella will pick it up on Thursday because it is a good story. Do you want me to say what it is?
Go for it.
Okay, so Tom was talking to me when he heard me writing about my story here, and we've talked about Area 51. Gabby, more than you. Oh, that's
no, we're both certifiably insane. Don't even try to protect her feelings.
Yeah,
I get it from her.
And I tell them they get it from their dad, but anyhow, what Tom said that he had heard something very interesting, and it kind of ties in. Like, we don't do alien stuff too much, but everybody knows about Area 51 and all the government cover up and what's supposed to be there and all that. Well, apparently in Antarctica, there is a spot where there's an ice wall, and you are not allowed to go up to a certain point by that ice wall, or you will be approached by government officials. And it's the same type of scenario as Area 51. So Tom knows a lot about the subject. Eric's pretty familiar with it. Gabrielle and I will both do research on that. So that'll be next Thursday's real talk topic. And Tuesday night, then we will just call Tuesday night story night. And I can do that. I mean, we can do that we can have Tuesday nights as story nights, and Thursday then run real talk our topic. So we can do that. So
missed you yesterday. It was nice.
Yeah, it's we got somebody else new. Look at that. Welcome. I'm sorry that you guys are like, we're at the end of the show, but definitely rewind. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We enjoy having all of you. If you're not real familiar with us, other than what you're seeing here, as you can see, we have no fancy videos and stuff in the back. No, we're going to get a better camera hooked up, but we talk to our supporters as if you're sitting right in our living room and we're talking and having a chat right there. That's how we have it. That's how we're going to keep it. So thank you so much for joining, and we really, really appreciate all of you showing up. So we will do that on Tuesday night, then have story time. I'll finish that up, and then Thursdays we will have our topics and that. So with that being said, I see new people join, and just keep on coming, guys. You're going to have to go back and rewind, though, and I hope you enjoy our content. It's that time of the night, and I didn't get very much sleep, so please excuse me. But
I'm surprised that was legible.
I know, and it was funny because earlier today, I think it was, I couldn't speak a complete sentence. Then your dad tried to talk, and he carried on it. He couldn't speak a complete sentence. Poor Eric, he's having trouble breathing. That is, it is from coughing. He couldn't speak properly. You came over, you couldn't speak. Where they're like, what is going on? So,
hidden gem too. Well, we hope to see you guys again.
Please come back. For those of you that's just joining, on the other side with Diane, if one of our moderators wants to put it up on the screen, the other side with Diane on Tuesday nights, we are on at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time on the other side with Diane. On Thursday nights, which tonight's Friday, but it's usually on Thursday night on Real Talk on this channel, you will catch us again, and we usually have some type of a topic that we discuss, and we will go anything from urban legends, cryptids, anything paranormal to
conspiracy theories.
Anything. We're all raw, unedited, no fancy equipment, just us and you sitting here chatting like you're sitting next to us and feeling comfortable. Get your coffee, get your snacks, sit and enjoy. So, have anything to say?
No, I think
okay. Anybody else?
I said all that.
Thank you so much, Kiwi. Appreciate that. Are you Amish by chance? No. But we do live very, very close to a lot of Amish people. Here in Pennsylvania, where we live, there's Amish community all around us. So we are very, 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 very Oh, well, great.
Awesome.
We
I
are.
mean, our last name is German, so we're
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Amish, but
Yeah. Instead of Weshi, it's actually supposed to be Vesha. So
Misha.
yeah, Vesha. So, but we're on 2 hour mark. We're probably boring you guys at this point. So, with that being said, you know how we end our shows.
How many more people are going to join?
So, guys, keep any questions when you come back on Tuesday or Thursday. We'll answer any type of questions and that. And we're not trying. We, as you can see, we've been on for 2 hours. We are so happy to have you join us. So, you guys, thank you so much. But we are going to call it a night. I know Gabriella's still not 100% feeling good. I hope I get sleep tonight because of my lung problem. But with that being said, we're going to say stay tuned and
Peace out.
we love you guys. See you guys all next time. Hope join in. We'll be glad to have you back. Bye.